Good morning. How are you today? Happy Monday. I've been having a couple bad hair days, so I just flat ironed it a little bit. But with this side being like that, I had to put the ponytail more towards this side because this side is like this is the side that was shaved and it keeps trying to grow out and doesn't look good, so I have to try to put it back in a ponytail. But today's topic, I hope I have enough time to discuss it, is just to know that you're a queen. If you're a woman or if you're a man, you're a king too. Well, I'll probably do the queen one right now, and then we'll discuss that you're a king. I'm gonna do. I'll just do part one about queens, and then part two will be about kings and knowing your worth too, as well as a queen. So part of being a queen is changing things about yourself that you necessarily need to work on, like if you're shy, take like a class that will help you express your, yourself, like an acting class or something. What I was very stage fright even after I took acting class because because I could freeze up, but, and, like, I kind of like being more of a spokesmodel than versus modeling, like where memorizing lines or like big lines. Like I don't really like having to memorize big lines. So if I did get back into acting, it would probably be like theater because I went to school to be a theater technician, and that was really hard. I could do it. It's just every time I try to go to school, I get bad roommates or I get like bad boyfriends. So that's why I'm just totally not even trying to. I'm trying to focus on me and my education. And yeah, I do want a good person someday for my life, but I know God will bring them. I'm not going to sit there and go looking. When I know that, it's a good fit, then I'll know, then I'll pray about it and everything. Like I prayed for a husband and then I forgot that I had prayed for a husband. So I was like, then there's like people right in front of you and you're like, oh wow, now I got like three candidates, but who's the right one? And you don't want to pick the wrong one. So it's better to just wait for God. And I saw a vision of me having my own office, and that could be possible because even though that's not my career goal, I want to do criminal justice and communications. And the college has like broadcasting and journalism, and I'm really creative. Like I want to finish writing my book called The Artistry of Poetry by Michelle Ramon and have three different types of poems. And hopefully this won't cut off. If it cuts off, I'll just do part two of knowing that you're a queen. How about that? That'll be the title. I just pull it out of my hat. Okay. No, just that I wanted to talk about that you're a queen. If even if you've had a bad life or you've had like bad relationships, that doesn't mean that you're not a queen. I'm like sweating because of all the walking I do, and my metabolism is still working. It's burning. So I'm trying to get people to have more self love if they don't, and to know that you don't need anyone to define you, not even a friend. I mean, you do need friends, but it's poison if you make the wrong type of friends. And I've done that before, so it becomes poison. And then all you're doing is the repercussions of it are bad because like, you know, you can't you can't just let people in because like they will they'll basically if they're toxic and then you let them in and then you try to kick them out, they are a person at the end of the day, and you really have to pray about it. I've prayed to God like, should I let this person in? And then God, you know, didn't answer me on that. Like, so I did let people in, and maybe it was to help them more steer towards God, and maybe when I was trying to get them focused on God, the enemy tried to get them to focus more on that it was okay to sin. There's always like a good person and a demon that will try to convince them that they don't need God or they don't need to go to church. And there's always like a good person, and then there's a bad person that's getting in their mind, you know. And it could be just like children of the devil, you know. They're not like, I mean, I've had friends that I've done stuff for, and then they wouldn't have necessarily returned the favor. So, and that's when you know that their heart isn't in it. Their heart is just like for themselves, or to twist people against you, or they're. It's like that's why I call Team Jesus versus Team Haters, because there's a good person over here saying positive stuff that they could do versus the negative stuff they could do, like, oh, just go get high, it doesn't matter, like, you know, and I'm over here like, no, I don't think you should do that, or, and then they end up having me twisted, like, oh, I got your medicine, giving me weed and stuff, and it's like, yeah, weed is medicine, but I mean, for someone to say, here's your medicine, like, you really need it. Like, I don't really need anything. All I need is Jesus. And he has the answer to every solution. And when you're a queen, you know that. You know that you're wise. And if you just ask God for wisdom, he'll give it to you. And I want to be like, I do Christian counseling right now. And I did teen mentoring before. That was just something I did out of the kindness of my heart for some of my kids as friends. I would do teen mentoring, and I met younger people that were in my life. Like, I have two young best friends, but I do a lot of Christian based stuff with them, even though um, it turned into like a relationship one time, and then I felt like I needed to go back to God, but then one of them overstepped their boundaries and like was like, "No, you're going to be in a relationship with me," and just showed up at my door at 6 o'clock in the morning, and it was just like, I stayed, but I shouldn't have, because I could have been further along in my Christianity walk than I am now. But I stayed for like 6 whole years off and on, dating someone that was like way younger, but I'm young mentality wise, so I think it was okay. Like, I have like a 17-year-old mentality, so it's like, didn't bother me. It's like, I do. I have like, I was diagnosed like with a 17-year-old mentality because I was put in a mental hospital when when I was 17. I was raped in high school, and a couple times I got drunk, and I went to a party and got drunk. Like, I had a problem with alcohol when I was younger and didn't really know it, that I had a problem, like, I would get super drunk and then cry. So it's like, and alcohol is a depressant, so people don't know that. They're like, oh, you think it's going to make you happy, but then when you come down, you're actually crying. So I've been to the AA meetings about that. I've never like been a full on alcoholic. Only when I was in high school, I used it. I self medicated with alcohol, with my friends, or, just by myself. Like, after I had my baby, I got drunk. So that's a whole other topic. We're trying to talk about being a queen, and I'm over here going about like I'm an alcoholic. No, but I mean, that's not why I lost my kids. I mean, I volunteered for a parenting class, and I got brutalized and discriminated on for being disabled single mom, and that's what the CPS is getting investigated for: kidnapping and racketeering and money laundering and all kinds of stuff. And I did investigate their county because I'm a criminal justice major from Nevada. I just haven't got my degree. So I'm stuck right now, because after losing your kids for 7 years, when you just wanted a parenting class and you already went through two not so good marriages, my first marriage would have made my second marriage look like he was an angel. I was like, oh my God, I should have never divorced my first husband. Like, but, then I found out stuff later that wasn't good about him, that, and I guess I knew all along because he lied about his age, and there's a whole other story too. because I was way younger than him, and so I was pretty much manipulated into the relationship, and he didn't even know that I had a love for kids because I raised my siblings with my mom, and he had no idea that I really loved kids, and he denied the fact that he had kids, thinking that I would not want him. And I so love kids. I was like, why did you lie to me about your kids? Like, I love kids. Like, so you never know, people that don't know you, they don't know you. It's like, yeah, I love kids. I mean, I was taking that in high school, child development, and I had this little baby and everything. And they were going to put me with the terrible twos, and I opted out of that. I was like, no, that's not what I want to do. I changed my mind after they put me with the terrible twos. I was like, no, this is too stressful of a job if I did this for a living. And then I ended up doing it for a living later down the road. After I had my own children, I became a childcare worker for like 2 or 3 years, and I enjoyed it. And I was at Creative Kids. I was at this other little daycare by the mall. It was just like some little no name daycare, but and the kids loved me. I was Miss Michelle, and then I was at Trinity United Methodist, where I would take care of the nappers, and I had to pat the kids to bed, and they would move me around from different classrooms, and my job was mostly to nap everybody. I was the napper, like, come on, go to bed, and just pat them on their back till they fell asleep at nap time, and I was really really good at that. The kids loved me. They were just like, you know, I would just pat them to sleep and they would be out like a light. I was really good at that because I was already a mom. So the, the reason that I'm going there with all this is that you know, because someone has devalued you in any kind of way, like I've been devalued, in my life, like sometimes, my parents weren't always encouraging. My mom couldn't help me with my math. She would lose patience, and I didn't know I had a math disability called chalclexia, which is my disability. And it's more of a learning disability, but I managed to get through the parts that were hard when I was in math classes. My teacher would say, you could do it. It's just that if you could do adding and subtracting of fractions, you could do anything in math. And I just would freeze up. I didn't like figuring it out in my head, so I would like count with my fingers, and then I would feel like I was stupid. And when you're being told you're stupid because you can't find a tool in the tool shed, you're just like, my dad would be like, you can't find that, and he just something yell at us like, so I mean, you feel stupid. You feel dumb when you can't find something that your dad or mom tells you to get, or your mom was just like, my mom was too busy working, so one time I had a really bad strep throat where I had a fever and I was actually hallucinating. I could feel the water dropping and it was just like going really slow. I was hallucinating because my fever was so high and there was nobody there to take care of me. And I could have gave me heart problems because they said if you have strep throat and you don't get antibiotics, it could affect your heart. And I've always had heart problems, I feel like, because I used to run in school, and I used to always want to race everybody, and till I fell and skid, and that's a whole story. I skid, and I had a big hole in my pants that were brand new, and I never showed my mom. I put them in this little drawer, and she probably found them later. Like, what the hell? Why? How did this happen? You didn't tell me you skid a big two big holes in your pants. I was running trying to race my friends, and I fell because I had to race everybody. And then later I found out that running was my passion and I liked it. And I had a teacher that used to take us on little marathons, and we had these like little name tag, not a name tag, but like a number. So we used to just run, and that was, it was fun. I used to enjoy that. That was why I lost my weight originally, was jogging, because jogging, it could take you to a different place. I mean, I wish I still jogged because, like, I'm going through depression right now. I don't even want to start crying. I'm just like, I heard bad news about my daughter, so don't even start crying. God, it's just, they just said that she didn't want me to have her number, and I'm upset about that. So, but this isn't why I'm here today. I'm here basically for a positive talk. I don't want to get into like my depression because I could go there. I have depression really bad where it's just recently like I got depressed because of all the moving around and bad roommates, and it's like I was like the totally good roommate and just got treated really badly. Because you meet dysfunctional people. Like God puts certain people in your path, and you're sitting there wondering why. And I have like a natural healing spirit to heal people or to comfort them or to take on all their problems. And it's like, but at the same time, I'm not taking care of myself. So like I do have to call my doctor because I really need someone to make appointments for me because I'm bad at making my own appointments. I gotta go to the doctor, and I hate doctors. So it's just like I just don't like going because they give you all these things to do, like go get a lab draw and all this, and then now that I have rides to do that, I gotta book the ride. So it's like I would literally spend all day on the phone, and I just hate doing that. So I need like somebody that could make some appointment, like a caregiver kind of thing, to make my appointments for me and make sure that I go to the appointments, like, and even though I have rides, they give me Lyft rides to my appointments. So it's a no-brainer. But when you're fighting depression and moving from place to place and you are just like overwhelmed, I think it's just overwhelming like to do all that. But at the same time, I didn't know my worth in life until I was like, let me see what age. I'd say it was like late 40s. I really didn't know my self worth. And with the mentality of a 17-year-old, you're not making good choices. I wasn't making good choices, and and then people can see that as a weakness and take, and you might want to put a boundary up, but you're not strong enough to put those boundaries up. So you got to know that whatever age you decide you're going to have self-worth, and that you don't have to be a people pleaser. Like, you don't need to be a people pleaser. You need to be a God pleaser. God created you. You don't have to like feel bad for somebody that needs you in a way that's a selfish way. If they want you because if they want you for a reason that is like selfish, you don't have to feel bad about that. As a queen, know you're a queen, okay? You could go to God. I mean, we are of a royal priesthood, and that's the difference between being a born again Christian versus just being out there and doing whatever you want and living your life a certain way. He sets us apart for a reason, okay? We are not here for our own life. We are set apart as Christians. We are here to get the word of God out. We're here, yeah, we sometimes we go back into the world and we find that it was worse. Because once you know God and once you know the truth, to go back into the world is like the Bible says, it's going back into the mud. You're already washed and cleaned. You don't have to go back into the mud. Stay where you are. Like wait on God. Wait on the Lord. You don't have to just jump into any old thing that you feel is like a demand. Like somebody could rush you into sex and you're like, oh, I feel guilty about that because I shouldn't have did it. Or you don't have to do that. You don't have to do anything except be still, just like the Bible says. If friends want to leave because you won't give them sex, then let them leave. They're not the right friends for you. Obviously, they're going to go and do whatever they want to do anyway, regardless. So that means that they would have been a danger to you because they could sleep with you and sleep with someone else and give you a disease. So you got to really pray about things, and you really got to be still and know that He is God. He's not going to put some bad person in your life. The devil will. If you're sinning, the devil's going to open up more sinful doors. If you're trusting God, God's going to open up healthier channels, healthier people, healthier situations. Good, classy people versus trashy people that just want to manipulate you out of your pants or out of your things that you have, your belongings or whatever. Whatever they can get out of you, they'll try to get out of you. I had a friend that was not even a friend, and I never knew she wasn't a friend. And that's why I'm so, like, not trusting of the friends I have now, even though some of them are really legit friends. Like, they really are friends. And I doubt that they're friends because they don't even know me either. They don't even know me. I don't know them. So it's just a learning thing. Like, this is who I am, you know, and sometimes people base who you are on, maybe stuff that they've experienced, and they think that people are like that because they've experienced bad people too. People that are fake, you know, they won't share their videos or nothing. And I knew one of my friends wasn't fake because he would actually share my videos and he really cared about me for me, not just, but at the same time, he had his own issues and I couldn't fix those issues. I couldn't get him to stop doing criminal activity or nothing. I can't make someone stop doing something if they're addicted to something, or I can't stop them. I can't. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist to fix someone mentally either. Because I can barely fix my own mental health issues, like, which I need mental health really bad. But I need to go, and it starts with calling my doctor and just doing everything I don't want to do. I don't want to do that. I don't want to sit on the phone all day because it's annoying to sit there on hold listening to some crazy music, like, and you're just like, but it has to get done. It has to get done. So it's like being responsible for yourself, for your own health issues. But as a queen, we can go to our Heavenly Father. Like, I know I am of a royal priesthood. Last time I gave my life to God, I did get some money, but I didn't even spend it wisely because the devil was sending people that wanted me to sin. He was sending temptation after me. And I was, like, letting temptation win at the time. And I was, like, spending my money, on stupid things. But I did spend it on wise things, but ended up making bad decisions on my roommates and got bad roommates and lost it all. I lost my brand new couch, my brand new bed that I bought my kids for when they're supposed to come home, but they couldn't come home because I was living in sin. They would have came home a long time ago had I just been a stronger Christian and said, no, I'm protecting my Christianity. I'm not going to do this. If I say I have spiritual goals, you should respect that, because not everybody's going to respect it. They're going to just take advantage of your weakness, that you're vulnerable, and that you could just go along with what they want you to do, you know. And it could be just them thinking that that's what you want, It's like, yeah, of course I want that, but not at the expense of losing my blessings and my calling that God has for me. That's more important, So waiting is sometimes good. If you're a queen, you will wait. You will get to know the person. Because if you jump into bed with the wrong person, they could literally murder you. I mean, yeah, it's like, duh. Don't be naive. Don't just get involved with people until you, like, look up their history. Look up, are they a good person? Like, I may have had mental health issues in the past, but I'm a totally good person by the way I was raised. My dad taught us to give to people. He was rich. He had money. He was always doing charitable things. He wasn't always just rich. He was rich in being a good person. And without being a good person, and even if you are a good person, people will take your kindness for weakness. He's done all kinds of stuff for people in their companies because he's a businessman. And they basically took his kindness for weakness and didn't pay him when the company succeeded, didn't acknowledge that he was the one that got their business out there to a lot of people. Aloe vera juice was my dad's project. He got that. We helped this guy with his hair products, and we went to hair shows, and we went to hair shows. We went to food and beverage shows. Because he was promoting other people's companies because he was a good person. He didn't even profit from it. He was just like burned in the streets. And so he decided one day he's going to open up his own company, California Limousine Service. And that's why I just, you know, I wrote that song about basic, that I'm not basic because I was always in a limousine. When I was 15, I was coming out of a limousine. I'm not basic. I came from, we had a lot of nice things that we did. We rode in a limousine, we went places, we went to concerts. I would invite my friends for their birthday or my birthday. We did good things for people with the limousine service. He hired people, he took people under his wing and did good things for people. And it wasn't always just street stuff. Because he was in the streets as well and making money that way. But we're just thankful that he's alive and he came back from the Vietnam War. And I like the fact that he taught us to clean. He always said, "Do the dishes." I had my dish day and I had